Although many traditional styling features were retained, the 1997 Buick Park Avenue has been redesigned inside and out. The Buick design team has paid careful attention to every detail, resulting in a very special product that continues to deliver luxury, performance, reliability, and quality to discerning Park Avenue owners. From the drawing board all the way to final inspection, the Buick team remains firmly committed to continuous improvements in quality. One of the ways Buick accomplishes this is by continually evaluating a captive vehicle fleet from early production. Quality management continues after delivery with the Park Avenue Diagnosis Program. Service technicians are guided through diagnostics by the electronic SWAT team to enable technicians to fix it right the first time. Hello, I'm Chuck McLennan. In this edition of Buick Know-How, we're going to look at concerns found in early production 1997 Park Avenues. We'll give you the latest 1997 Park Avenue service concerns from the TAC staff at Buick World Headquarters. We also have some new capabilities and uses to demonstrate for the TAC 2 scan tool. There's a lot to cover, so let's get started. We're going to begin with a drivetrain concern that's possible in the 1997 Park Avenue and Riviera. This Park Avenue came in with a complaint of a clunking noise and shaking during acceleration and braking. Let's try to duplicate the complaint. Okay, that did it. I can hear it and feel it. We found that this concern can be caused by a binding or grounded out rear transaxle mount. This condition may also cause noise under other driving conditions, such as a right turn or at idle. You can check for it with a simple visual inspection. Inspect the mount from below. The mount should be centered within the outer insert. If the mount is touching the outer insert, then it needs to be adjusted. First, support the weight of the transaxle with a jack stand. Next, remove the nuts that attach the transaxle bracket to the transaxle mount. Then, lower the transaxle until the bracket is no longer touching the mount. Then, raise the transaxle, bringing the transaxle bracket into contact with the transaxle mount. Make sure that the mount is centered inside the outer insert. Continue raising the transaxle until the mount is seated firmly. The mount will try to twist when the nut is torqued. Oh, and be careful not to lift the vehicle off the hoist. Finally, reinstall the nuts and torque them to 45 Newton meters or 33 pounds-feet. This is a slight change from the specification in the service manual. If you can't get the mount to stop binding, replace the transaxle bracket. The updated part has longer slots. You'll find additional information in your know-how reference manual. Avoid a comeback with a road test. Maneuver the car the same way as you did when you verified the complaint. One of the traditional selling points of Park Avenue and the rest of the Buick lineup is interior quietness. A quiet interior reinforces the feelings of drivers and passengers that they are well protected. Modern design and manufacturing techniques require numerous cutouts and access locations in the body. By allowing the pressure between the exterior and interior of the car to equalize, each cutout or access can create a passageway for road noise to reach the passenger compartment. Enough noise, in fact, to possibly cause a complaint from a Park Avenue owner who is familiar with the characteristic quietness of a Buick. The following road noise procedures were supplied by the vehicle development team while monitoring the captive vehicle fleet of early production 1997 Park Avenues. You should check these areas when you get a car in for a noise complaint, and when you notice that they are missing when you are doing related work in the same locations. It's a little more work, but it's worth it. Your customers will appreciate it and feel confident about recommending your dealership and service department to their friends. Let's get to the repairs. Although we're going to demonstrate the repair procedures on the left side of the car, these repairs are applicable to the right side as well. The first location we're going to check is underneath the rocker panel molding. Remove the molding. Follow the instructions in your service manual under General Body Service or your Know-How Reference Manual. There's a total of 4 holes, 2 under each door. We've included the GM part numbers of the patches in the Technician Know-How Reference Manual, but you'll probably find it easier to obtain a roll of metal, roof, or gutter repair material at your local building or roofing supply store. We went shopping and found a product called Peel and Patch that looks like it should work pretty well. Peel and Patch is an aluminum-faced, self-adhesive material that is available in 10-foot rolls of 4 and 6-inch widths. This roll costs slightly less than $10. You can cut it to fit with scissors or a razor knife. For the procedures that we're demonstrating today, 1 roll should be enough to complete about 4 cars. If any of the holes are not sealed up, clean and dry the area. To avoid interfering with the trim cover, the distance between the top of the hole and the top of the patch needs to be at least 3, but no more than 15 millimeters. While the car is raised, look at the front sunroof drain hose pass-through. Problems in this area not only can result in road noise, but rattles as well. If it has a sunroof, inspect the front sunroof drain hose grommet for proper seating. If the car doesn't have a sunroof, there should be a plug in the pass-through to seal out road noise. Install the plug if it's missing. And fill this rectangular cavity with expanding foam. While you're here on the left side, check the hood release cable grommets, especially if the complaint includes a rattle from the left side. Resecure any loose grommets to prevent the cable from rattling. Several hidden assembly holes can be accessed from the interior. To get behind the carpet, we've removed the front and rear sill trim covers. You should be able to find 3 patches. 2 should be at the base of the B-pillar, and 1 should be just in front of the seat mount. Move the plastic harness conduit away from the body by gently prying on it near the 90-degree bend. If the holes are open, go ahead and install the patches. When you remove the B-pillar trim, you'll see this open area. Noise control can be enhanced if you install a foam block here. 2 other interior locations may require sealing with noise control patches. The first is at the inside base of the C-pillar, and the second is a larger area just below the rear package shelf. The next area of concern is the water deflectors behind the door trim, so let's take the trim off. Now, the panels are prone to damage, so don't force them. 1997 Park Avenue door trim is secured by hooks on the back side of the panel. Disengage the hooks by lifting up on the trim panel after removing the fasteners. In order to keep out road noise, each water deflector needs to be inspected for a tight seal all the way around. Particular attention should be paid to the area around the door speaker and the leading edge of the water deflector. Press the deflector tightly to the door if it's loose, and then use thumb grade sealer if the original adhesive has lost its stickiness. Hey, Stan.
Hi, Chuck.
How you doing?
Good.
Thanks for coming by. Folks, this is Stan Majeski, lead electrical engineer for the Park Avenue. What do you got for us today?
Well, Chuck, we've had some customer complaints of the window where it goes down, but it won't go up.
Oh, that could be a problem on a rainy day.
And what we found after doing a little bit of root causing, the mirror fills up with water, leaks down the wiring here, and fills up the door module.
So how do we fix it?
Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to take the Tech 2.
Okay.
And we want to go into override mode.
Okay.
And we want to run the window up.
All right.
And then we want to run the window down. And if the override does work with the Tech 2, then we want to inspect the wiring from the door module to the switch. So let's do that.
All right.
We want to make sure this connection is fully seated.
Looks good.
No bent pins. And we want to make sure that the connection on the bottom of the driver door switch is fully seated.
Looks good. Yeah. Okay, so what's next?
Okay, if you cannot override the window with the Tech 2, we want to check the DDM for codes. So you would do that with the Tech 2.
Okay.
Okay, check for codes. And what's happening is, as the water's running down, it's shorting out different things and causing codes to be set in the DDM.
From where? How's it running down?
It's actually filling up and running down here and filling up the module.
Oof.
And as the module fills up, it will set codes. So what we want to do is, first, let's fix the water entry problem.
Okay, how do we do that?
And then we'll fix the door module.
All right.
So first thing we do is remove the mirror.
Okay.
And then we add 2 small holes to the front edge of the mirror gasket. That's where the water is pooling. After we do that, we want to make sure that the wire routing from the mirror has a drip loop in it. So let's install a drip loop in there.
All right, let me straighten this up a little bit here and then we'll make sure that we got a good one on there.
And the way you tell if you have a good drip loop is the loop is actually lower than the connection point.
Sure, the water will just drip off here then.
Right.
Okay.
And we don't want to add any extra wire or anything in this area. We want to do it with the existing wire.
Okay.
Once you've done that, you replace the door module, and then we want to check, reinstall the trim panel, and check for proper window operation. Let's see if I can help you. Okay, let's check the window operation now.
All right.
Let's make sure the window goes up, and then we want to make sure the window goes down.
Great.
One thing we want to make sure that we do out in the field is, as the customer brings the car in for service, we want to always check the window operation. This is not something we want the customer to find. It's something we want to definitely fix so we have customer satisfaction.
Okay.
Well, Chuck, thanks for letting me butt in.
Stan, thanks very much for coming by. Really appreciate it.
Have a good day, Chuck.
You too. Bye-bye. Well, let's finish up body sealing. Then we'll return for more Park Avenue electrical concerns. The next area to check is at the base of the A-pillar. Now, some Park Avenues may have small gaps at the seams. Also, a sealer plug assembly may not have been installed. To check it, remove the interior windshield trim. This is how it should look. Underneath this layer of seam sealer is a plug. If the plug is missing, you will see a small hole. The hole should be filled with expandable foam, and body seam sealer should be applied to any visible gaps in the sheet metal. One final area of body sealing concern for the 1997 Park Avenue is the lower edge of the windshield. Gaps in the urethane seal may produce leakage, which could cause wind whistle and water leaks. This is a good opportunity to demonstrate a variation of the air pressure test that you learned about in Know-How 117 and Know-How 158. We doctored this 97 Park Avenue for demonstration purposes. This technique uses a fog generator, such as the Mini-Max. There are others available, but make sure that you don't use one that requires an oil-based fogging chemical. Oil-based fogging chemicals might leave odors or residue inside the car. Fog generators are used frequently for smoke simulation in firefighting training exercises. First, seal off the pressure relief vent behind the right rear wheel. For our Park Avenue concern, we'll also remove the cowl panel. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for the fog generator. Place it on the center armrest. Then, turn the ignition switch to the run position. Now, turn the blower on low and turn off recirculation. Now be sure that all the windows are closed tightly. And now we'll turn on the fog generator. The fog is thick enough when it's no longer possible to see through the interior of the car. As the blower increases the pressure in the passenger compartment, watch for fog escaping from the car. Some of these leaks are to be expected. But if you see fog coming from an unexpected place, you found a leak and a potential source of a wind noise or a water leak concern. Oh, and don't forget to check underneath the car. On the 1997 Park Avenue, look for fog trails which would indicate a gap in the urethane bead. If you find a leak, mark the position with a China marker. This car checked out fine, but if there had been a leak, You would make the repair by flooding the area with urethane. Repair any other leaks that you find. The appendix in your know-how reference manual has a list of past editions of know-how that discuss wind noise and water leaks. Oh, and incidentally, this test was developed by the engineers at the GM Proving Grounds. We've got one last-minute item to add to the Park Avenue's body sealing checklist. Some Park Avenues may have shift cable grommets that are not properly seated. The shift cable grommet is located on the bulkhead below the pass-through for the heater hoses and refrigerant lines. This molded ring is actually a handle for installing the grommet. The handle should be vertically aligned. An unseated shift cable grommet could allow engine noise into the passenger compartment. If you get a car in for an engine noise concern, check the grommet before going any further. The capabilities and uses of the Tech 2 scan tool are continually expanding. Take a look at this Park Avenue feature. If you haven't seen that one yet, don't be too surprised. The Tech 2 is capable of programming individual greetings and names for both driver number 1 and driver number 2. To input customer names into the memory, access the Driver Information Center menu by selecting Personalization from the application menu. Selecting F0 at this point will give you instructions for personalizing driver number 1. Selecting F1 here will do the same for driver number 2. Use the left and right arrow buttons to position the highlighter and the soft keys to select characters, save the ID, and switch between the identification line and the character table. If you make a mistake, select the correct letter and press Select Character again. It isn't necessary to enter the letters from left to right. If the same letter appears elsewhere in the greeting, scroll over to that position and press the Select Character soft key again. That way, you won't have to keep scrolling back to that letter. Press the Exit button at any time to stop editing. The original greeting will still be in the memory. Most Park Avenue owners will appreciate the personalization features. However, you may encounter customers who want to personalize their Park Avenues even more with aftermarket accessories such as alarm systems, radios, telephones, or remote starters. Most electronic aftermarket products are incompatible with the Park Avenue's electrical architecture. For example, remote starters won't function in the Park Avenue because the Passkey 3 module has no key from which to obtain a password. 3 trillion unique key codes are available. Aftermarket installers could cause a great deal of damage if attempts to bypass this feature are made. In the Park Avenue electrical harness, the purple wire is the data path for the Class 2 system. Unless specifically referred to in the service manual procedures, the purple wire should not be probed or disturbed and should never be used as a source of voltage for any device. The integrity of each connector in this circuit is just as vital as the wire itself to proper operation. Connector terminals can be easily damaged by improper probing, particularly in the bus electrical centers or BECs. Many of these connectors and wires are an easy reach of an installer looking for a quick source of battery voltage for ground. Damage to a BEC is not repairable. The BEC must be replaced at a cost of several $100s. In an electrical diagnosis problem, one of the first questions you should ask is, are any aftermarket accessories installed on this car? Now, let's return to the Tech 2. A fast new diagnostic test has been developed to assist in troubleshooting a no crank and no start concern in early 1997 Park Avenues with VINs lower than 12,000. If the engine doesn't start, check all modules for current and history DTCs and record any codes that you find. We'll be looking at the Passkey 3 module for this Park Avenue concern. See your know-how reference manual for a list of DTCs that usually occur with passkey failures. Once you've got the codes, disconnect the battery and check all 3 BECs for proper connector installation. If the engine cranks, the problem is not in the Passkey 3 system. If the engine doesn't crank, use the Tech 2 to request the part number of the Passkey 3 module. Once you have the Passkey 3 module part number on the screen, Turn the ignition off and remove the key. Leave the Tech 2 connected. The module should go to sleep within 30 seconds. This will cause the Tech 2 screen to go blank and display a message that communications has been lost. If it doesn't, the module is faulty and must be replaced. The service manual calls the Passkey 3 module a control-coded key, and the procedure for replacing it is in the tilt steering column repair section. The replacement part is an improved module that went into production beginning with VIN 12000. If the module fails to respond in the first place, or if communication is intermittent, remove the battery ground cable and disconnect and reconnect the Passkey module connector C206, which is a pink connector above the lower steering column brace. The terminal should be clean and the connector should be tight. If the module still doesn't respond, see your know-how reference guide for the diagnostic procedures. The internal clock of the standard body module, or SBM, may spontaneously change the speed at which it operates. This change may cause the SBM to slow down its processing speed. When it does, the airbag and service vehicle soon telltales light up. The air conditioner may stop working, and the chime sounds long and drawn out. The strange-sounding chime is a good indicator of a problem inside the SBM. The condition can be difficult to duplicate because the SBM can lock in at the correct speed at any time. Fortunately, the condition also disrupts the Class 2 bus and leaves a specific DTC history. The details are in your know-how reference guide. The 1997 Park Avenue is equipped with a load management system which reduces power to the heated seats, the HVAC blower and/or the rear window defogger if electrical consumption gets too high. The most probable customer complaint would be that the heated seats do not get warm enough. Chances are, if the HVAC blower is on high, the rear defogger is on, and the headlights are on, the load management system has probably reduced the power to the seat heaters to avoid excessive current flow and conserve the battery. Let's shut off the rear defroster and see if the seat cycling turns off. The customer can usually avoid this situation if they clear the rear window manually and use lower blower speeds. An updated procedure has been developed for replacing the flasher module of the 1997 Park Avenue. It's included in your know-how reference manual. The procedure in the current service manual requires 1.5 hours. The updated procedure can be completed in about 35 minutes. Instead of removing the steering column and instrument panel, the entire operation can be completed from under the dash. Above this gray cover is the PDM and the LCM. Once the PDM and the LCM are out of the way, you'll see the flasher module installed at the top of the module bracket. Well, we've covered a wide range of topics today, and I hope that you found this edition of Know-How useful. Thanks for watching, and good luck with the quiz. We'll see you next month with a new edition of Buick Know-How.